Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Ever wondered what actually makes powerful AI like ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok? You hear terms like billions of parameters, tokens, and prompts, and don't know how do they actually work together? Today we are diving deep to demystify the core components of large language models. Let's get started. To keep things simple, let's use an analogy. Imagine an LLM is like a super advanced car engine. It's got incredible power. You need to know how to fuel it and how to drive it. Today, we are looking at three core parts of this engine: the parameters, that's the engine internal wiring; tokens, that's the fuel for the engine; and the prompt, that's your steering wheel sets the direction for your car. Understanding these three things is a key to getting the most out of any AI model. Let's start with the big one, the parameters. Think of parameters as the LLM's brain, specifically the total number of connections and pieces of loan information it has. When you hear about models with billions of parameters, like 175 billion, 250 billion, for example, that number represents the vast amount of patterns, facts, and reasoning the model absorbed during its extensive training. These are the numerical weights that can be adjusted during the training and biases that define how the model processes the information. The more parameters, generally, the more sophisticated the nuanced model's understanding can be. It's like having more synapses in your brain. Smaller models have fewer connections, larger models have many connections, but the larger models will take uh, more time to get trained and consume high amount of resources. Here is the crucial part. Parameters are static after training. They are the fixed knowledge of the model. When you interact with ChatGPT, you are not changing its parameters. You are just accessing the knowledge directly encoded within them during the training phase. So, in our car engine analogy, parameters are the integrate design and wiring of the engine itself. It dedicates how powerful and capable the engine is. Next, let's talk about tokens. This is where things get a bit more technical but are super important to understand. LLMs don't process words one by one like we do. They break text down into smaller units called tokens. A token can be a entire word or a part of a word or even a punctuation. For English, roughly 1000 tokens equals about 750 words. Why does this matter? Well, tokens are essentially the currency of LLM. What do you mean? Currency of LLM. Right. Many AI services charge you based on the number of tokens you use, both for your input prompt and the model's output. And the important point to note here is that every LLM has a context window, right? Which is a limit on how many tokens it can process at once. This includes both your prompt and its generated response. If your conversation, including the model's responses, exceeds this limit, the AI starts to forget the beginning of the conversation. It's like a short term memory loss. Like we started with new tokens, and LLM is accepting your prompts, and it has a context window, it has a limit. And once that limit is crossed, it will start forgetting or discarding the first prompts provided in that session, right? In our engine analogy, tokens are the fuel. You need fuel to run the engine, and there is a limit to how much fuel the tank can hold at once. In this case, if the tank got filled, you cannot pump in more fuel. The same with LLMs. If the context window got filled, we cannot pump in more prompts unless it starts forgetting the very first prompts that we provided in that session. Finally, we have the prompt. This is probably the one you are most familiar with because it's your direct interaction with the model. The prompt is simply the input you give the LLM, your question, your command, your story starter, anything. The quality of your prompt is paramount. A well crafted prompt can unlock the full potential of the model's billions of parameters, while a vague one might give you a generic or unhelpful answer. This is where prompt engineering comes in. Think of this way: your prompt guides the model, telling it which part of its vast knowledge base to focus on. It directs the flow of information. A vague prompt might give you a bad output. A good prompt with good context, information, background, action, examples might give you a good output. In our car analogy, the prompt is your steering wheel and accelerator. You are telling the engine where to go, how fast, and which route to take. The better you steer, the better your journey would be. So, how do these work in harmony? It's a continuous loop, right? What you see on the screen. You give the LLM a prompt. The LLM system converts your prompt into tokens. Those tokens are then processed through the model's intricate network of parameters, which predict the most possible next sequence of tokens. And the model generates its response as tokens. Those output tokens are then converted back into human readable text for your screen. And this whole process happens in milliseconds. The, the more skilled you are at crafting a prompt, the better you can leverage the model's parameters and manage your token usage for optimal results when it comes to cost. The fundamental difference between parameters, tokens, and prompts, like how these are more important for any model, we took a car analogy to understand better, right? I hope this helps you to understand the magic behind large language models a little bit better. Knowing these distinctions will help you to be a better AI user, whether you are building an AI or working with an AI or researching with it or just curious about the future. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more AI deep dives. Thank you for watching. Talk to you all later. Bye.